Since George Janko has departed from the Impaulsive podcast, he seems to be flourishing and is finding his own niche in the podcast space. But fans are still wondering what is the actual reason behind it all. We have made a few videos in the past talking about the many reasons as to why it could have happened. And since those videos, a lot of new information has come out, which we'll check out in today's session. So make sure to stay till the end for the full details. If you've been listening to the Impaulsive podcast for a while, you've probably noticed that Logan and Mike frequently behaved in an unacceptable manner towards George, especially towards the end of his time on the show. Numerous creators have voiced their opinions on this subject ever since George left the podcast, and even George has publicly discussed what transpired. Something that caught the attention of many fans was on George Janko's most recent podcast featuring Jorge Masvidal, whom has also featured on Impaulsive in the past, where George dropped a freestyle and many believe there was a Logan Paul diss in there.
I spit, bro. Straight from the yeah, dude.
Let's go, bro.
Memories vividly come back to me. I'm blowing trees, laid back, my mind at ease. And as you see, God has already instructed me. But what I'll be is whatever's my company. The stone's storming, clouds are forming, a whole lot of bad omen. Can't say who, but I bet you know him. Nah.
There we go. He's a shy guy, man.
Yeah,
It took him a little while.
I'm a shy guy. I just gotta get by. Man, I'm looking real fly. Oh, I can just get by. Get me really nine.
Of course, the bar everyone is referencing is a whole lot of bad omen. Can't say who, but I bet you know him, which is most likely referencing Logan Paul or Mike Majlak. But after the religion debate on Impaulsive, which happened months back, it's most likely Logan. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell. This way you'll never miss out on any future celebrity videos similar to these. You were all aware of what that refers to, and when it occurred, it was shocking to see because throughout the entire episode, Logan didn't even make an effort to acknowledge George's religious convictions. He was so adamant about his position that it seemed as though he preferred to win the argument over engaging in it. Fans caught on to this quick, and it was the start of many events that led to Logan and Mike getting rid of George most likely, as his viewpoints were very different from theirs. We've seen this in the past with other co-hosts such as Spencer and Mac. Man, Logan really made me change my mind about him again. Whatever he says or thinks in his mind is automatically right, and everyone else is wrong. George wanted to have a conversation and actually talk about it, and Logan just wanted to fight about it. SMH. Logan really grossed me out in this episode. He was so disrespectful towards George's beliefs. Completely unacceptable behavior in my opinion. George handled this beautifully, and Mike is the best for always calling everyone out. The secondhand embarrassment for Logan is unbearable in this episode. From calling himself a genius while openly being ignorant of how he comes off to just downright being proven to be the least mature of the group is really something. One thing about Logan is regardless of how many controversies he gets himself involved in, he always finds a way to weasel out. It's quite impressive. What surprised me more than anything was that Logan felt comfortable stating those things about George's religion on a podcast, where he wasn't even trying to debate, he was just wanting an argument. What did he say to him off camera from his time on Impaulsive? A few weeks ago, George Janko went on UFC fighter Sean O'Malley's podcast and briefly touched on what happened with Impaulsive and his reasoning for leaving. And something happened which we all suspected.
Talked about the Impaulsive at all and just being done with it?
No, I just never, like in a man's life, he has to kind of stand up and draw a line and be like, guys, you got to stop like crossing these boundaries with me. Like, this is a little too much.
Is it mostly Logan doing the religious talk stuff or something different?
It's a bunch of things that like happened, man. There's some stuff that happened behind camera, and
Mike tried to kiss you or something.
fucking I wish.
You said it was an off-camera thing that they said
we just had disagreements about
more than one thing. It wasn't like a one thing they said that really fucking. It was like multiple different things.
Multiple things. Yeah.
Still to this day, the entire Impaulsive audience is on George Janko's side, and rightly so, because he has handled the departure in the best way possible. He isn't milking the fact he left. He has explained it was behind-the-scenes events that built up over time, yet Logan Paul has repeatedly shaded him on the podcast since he left. A lot of posts defending George were stuff like, I think the real problem was that George's IQ is about 3 times as high as Logan and Mike combined. It's about time. Dude put up with that toxicity for too long. I mean, he realized they are low-life scammers and did not want to associate himself. Good for him. Speaking about that last comment and low-life scammers, a few days ago it came out that Logan Paul is still yet to refund the Crypto Zoo victims 6 months after the scandal. If that doesn't show Logan Paul's true character, then I don't know what does. As he pledged to refund all victims involved but is now behind the scenes, a bit of a theme going on here, trying to brush it over. After leaving the podcast, George also chose to stop following the entire cast, including Logan. This surprised me because the two of them have known each other for a long time and had been close friends while Vine was still a thing. If you check out George's recent podcast viewings, they're quite strong, gaining over 100,000 views, and his short-form content is flourishing. So it's clear he is still very successful running a podcast of his own. I'm interested to see if you guys have been watching his podcast, and if so, how is it compared to Impulsive? Comment below. No offense intended, but I don't think George's podcast will ever be as popular as Impulsive. I think he is making some fairly good progress, especially considering the fact that he is just getting started. He claims to have learned about Vine only through Logan, which in my opinion demonstrates George's true character. On the other hand, things aren't looking so cool since Impulsive has removed George from all of their social media accounts and unfollowed him on Instagram. In addition, on one of the most recent episodes of the Impulsive podcast, Mike and Logan even made fun of George's podcast for not having as many viewers as they do now, which you all would have seen. At first, it seemed like everyone was cool with it, but this didn't last very long. When George aired his first episode, he said he still wanted to be on Impulsive and that he wanted to use his own show to address things he couldn't talk about on Logan and Mike's podcast. Which, when you think about it, is a bit odd he couldn't speak his mind on the Impulsive podcast in the first place. A lot of people think Mike Majlak was involved in George Janko's departure from the podcast, as he pushed the previous third host off the podcast. Around a month ago, in a strange crossover of people, Aiden Ross, Sneeko, and Mike Majlak were on a live stream together, and Aiden actually asked Mike why was George not appearing on any Impulsive episodes, and he didn't exactly give a detailed answer.
Mike, I have no idea what's going on. I don't think a lot of my kudos. Why is Georgie not on Impulsive anymore? Is that like you don't answer that?
He's too Christian.
No, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
He didn't go to the ritual in the basement.
Yeah,
He refused.
Bro,
He kept his hand on the Bible.
It's a bit odd to this day. Neither Mike nor Logan has even addressed the situation at all. All they've seemed to do is make subtle digs at George in their Impulsive episode. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.